All right, guys, we are back with LEC Wooloo himself once again with obviously some more LOL offseason Worlds coverage. Worlds, we're getting closer and closer to Worlds happening. Worlds is the matches and everything. So teams are starting to get eliminated. More and more teams are getting pushed into their offseason, obviously earlier than they would like. And today, Wooloo has some news for us, I think, about one of those teams and some of those players whose World run has come to an end, and now they have their sights set on the 2026 season. So Wooloo, what's the big scoop of the day for us?
Yes, so as you said, 100 Thieves have been eliminated from Worlds after losing to T1, and that means that Quid is a free agent, and even before Worlds, Quid was on the short list of a lot of teams. He was like one of the main options, and yeah, I was expecting to see teams try to sign him once Worlds is over. And honestly, this happened a bit quicker than expected. And that's why I just told you last minute to make this video. Like right now in Europe, it's 4 in the morning, but it seems teams are already trying to outbid each other for Quid. So it's really interesting to follow.
Yeah, I mean, the whole, obviously, 100 Thieves story the whole year has been very, very interesting. But obviously, once we, found out that 100 Thieves isn't going to be in the League of Legends scene next year and stuff like that, I'm sure a ton of teams started to have their eyes set on different players, different members of their roster. And obviously, it sounds like Quid is a very, very hot commodity. So I know you're kind of teasing us a little bit, saying that some teams are interested in him, that things are heating up, whatever. What can you give us as far as specifics? What teams? What's going on?
So there's a lot of teams who are interested in Quid. I can mention Navi, I can mention Team Heretics, even Team Vitality actually. But there are 3 teams in particular who I believe are solid candidates for Quid. The first one is KC from the LEC, but also Quid could stay in LCS because Team Liquid who have parted ways with Impact, and also Shopify Rebellion are already bidding for Quid, and those streams I see them as like the 3 big titans trying to get Quid this off season. And at this stage, I have no idea which of the 3 will get Quid, but I am quite sure that it will be one of the 3, unless Sentinels comes in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's the kind of dark horse that a lot of people are going to be wondering about. Obviously, Sentinels is this new org, and when you get a new org in, especially a big organization like Sentinels, you want them to make a splash. You want them to get some players. You want them to get a roster that people are excited about, so you can start winning right away. Yeah, so I'm sure people are going to be wondering, why is Sentinels being so quiet? Why are we not hearing more about them? Yeah, are they going to be aggressive in this offseason, stuff like that? I'm sure are going to be questions people are going to be asking.
So right now, Sentinels are still figuring out League of Legends, and they have not reached out to players yet. This is why I raised the question, because I just wonder if Sentinels come on the market, will they position themselves for Quid? It would kind of make sense, because they get the 100 Thieves spot in the LCS. They may work with a familiar face from 100 Thieves, so it would make sense if they get interested, but so far we have no idea of their budget. So right now, the 3 big options who, are already talking with Quid are already talking numbers and have Quid as a top priority are once again KC, DLC, Team Liquid, and Shopify. Actually, I would say those are 3 teams that missed out on Worlds and are 3 teams that would have liked to go to. I mean, everyone wants to go to Worlds, right? But there are 3 teams that at least for next year want to invest money to fight for those world spots and come back into rankings.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know fans love hearing when teams are actually, wanting it and getting aggressive and willing to make big acquisitions and spend some money and stuff like that. So, obviously, it sounds like, if multiple teams are going for you, that can really help you in terms of, getting those numbers up and getting your contract higher and giving you negotiating power and stuff like that. But I know fans are always wondering, like, is this something that you think is going to take some time? Is this something that you think is going to happen fast? Like people want the news, people want when stuff's getting official. So, is this something that's going to take time? Are these teams acting quickly? Do you have any insight in terms of stuff like that?
I think right now it's hard to say. Probably even teams are don't know. The truth is, Quid has no incentive for now to make a quick decision. If he can get those numbers up, he should. So it can take time. Honestly, no idea. But I expect it to take at least a few days. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible that one or two teams is like, okay, with CBA, those numbers are too high. But I think until we have a final choice, we may have to wait a little.
Yeah, I know. And hey, the waiting that can sometimes build the anticipation, build the hype, but also at the same time, once we get excited about some news or a story, we're always like, damn, we want that scoop sooner rather than later. So this should definitely be interesting. It should definitely be fun. I know this is another instance where we always talk about those dominoes and stuff like that. And I'm sure, when teams are waiting on that one big player that everybody wants, that's probably going to hold up and jam up some of the other, LCS. But even now you're talking about LEC offseason and stuff like that as well. So I know I'm sure a lot of people are hoping this happens sooner rather than later because it'll probably make a lot of other moves happen as well, depending on where he ends up, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. All the teams that want Quid right now are also considering other imports, actually, should they not have Quid. And depending on Quid's choice, all those teams will have a quite different look, except KC maybe because they only really have a question into mid lane now left, since Canary signed, but if Quid comes to LEC, it will be a blow for TLCS. If Quid stays into LCS, well, KC will need to find another mid laner. So it's definitely a move that will have a lot of impact on either region.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be very, very interesting. Bringing some of those NA and EU rivalries back once again, and we've seen so much crossover between all the players and all the teams. This will be another player that it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this ends up playing out. But as soon as you hear anything else, or as soon as we know some more stuff going on, definitely make sure you keep us in the loop like you always do. We're definitely going to be waiting for more videos, more articles, and all that good stuff. But I do appreciate taking your time. I know 4 a.m. craziness, long days. Taking your time to get us some of this latest info.
It's normal. It's normal. But yeah, since you mentioned EU versus NA, I will just take the opportunity to rant a little bit. But I feel so happy now doing those videos, saying LCS now and not LTA North. But the reason I mentioned this is because, now that LCS has its own identity again, it's easier to talk about EU versus NA. Like NA is its own region, and it's not just like this northern region part of another one. So I like it, and I hope that we get some banter again between both regions.
Yeah,
So,
it was always so complicated and so silly that we were having to dance around and describe it in different ways. But now the LCS is back, so I can't wait for you to bring us more LCS news and leaks and rumors and all that good stuff. And yeah, I'm definitely really excited to be saying that stuff once again as well. So thank you for all of this latest information, all that stuff. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for checking out this video. And like I said, make sure you tune back in and check it out because I'm sure there'll be more updates on this story and plenty of others coming to you guys real soon on all the different Sheep Esports platforms. So I can't wait for all that.